So guess what? I can't even open up my Google Docs. Wonderful. Just marvelous. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I just pulled up YouTube, watched that for a moment, and then tried to get back to seeing that if I could actually open up the Google Docs. I am flabbergasted. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. All right. Let me see. Hey, can you hear that? Can you hear that? What is happening?
For some reason, an apple moved a slight distance, and this caused the worker to take out his phone and begin to film the incident. He thought that nothing else would happen, but recording would be worth the slight chance, and it paid off. He managed to capture the apple and make an almighty movement off from the table, and it was clear that nothing visible caused this. Furthermore, it would take some mighty wind to cause that, and based on the fact that it was indoors and nothing else was moving, this was not the cause. There is
All right, so we're gonna start that over. All right, so we're gonna start that over. All right, let's watch something, and I'll figure out how to open up my Google Docs in a second. Hey, cool. All right, let's watch. I don't know what else.
a worker was having a great day at work due to how little customers they were getting, which meant that he received more breaks during his shift. At around 1 p.m., he decided that he was going to eat his dinner earlier because of this privilege. But little did he know that something else would be in the room with him. He was usually all alone in the break room, but not this time. This time was far worse than the fear of loneliness.
Okay, so I'm sitting here eating my lunch, and that apple just moved. Oh, shit.
For some reason, an apple moved a slight distance, and this caused the worker to take out his phone and begin to film the incident. He thought that nothing else would happen, but recording would be worth the slight chance, and it paid off. He managed to capture the apple and make an almighty movement off from the table, and it was clear that nothing visible caused this. Furthermore, it would take some mighty wind to cause that, and based on the fact that it was indoors and nothing else was moving, this was not the cause. There is only one real solution. It was a ghost.
It was a ghost.
George and the rest of his family were all in the kitchen waiting for their mother to serve dinner when all of a sudden they noticed something really out of the ordinary going on. One of the cups that they had set up on the table for dinner started to move on its own accord, and George thought this was a good time to record. It is important to note that nobody in the house had ever experienced anything paranormal before, and this was a first-time experience, making it much more mysterious.
What in the world is happening? What in the world is happening? No way. There's no it's not magnet. It's not magnetic. They're laughing at that? Like, what? Laughing at that? Like, what? It's just moving on to the side. Okay, so it's not gonna fly off with it.
As you can see, the cup was moving without anybody interacting with it, and as far as we could tell, no force was acting upon it either. No matter how much you zoom in or how slow you actually make the video, it does not show any signs of strings or items that could have interfered with the incident. This video seems to be very authentic, and I fear for the family, but if you find anything wrong with it, then feel free to let me know in the comments section.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
In the following video, Thomas was in his room drinking some booze and watching television about the paranormal when something fitting to the activity happened. When the event happened, Tom did not believe that his eyes were seeing what they were due to the amount of booze he had put into his system, and it could have easily been a hallucination. Fortunately though, he was smart enough to have taken out his phone and started recording the situation so that later on, he could look back and see if it was truly real again, and to his surprise, it was. But before I show you the footage, did you know that your paranormal footage can actually be included in future Haunter videos? All you have to do is email hauntedvofical@gmail.com with your footage alongside a description of the backstory and what happened, and you have a chance to be featured. Anyway, here is the clip.
I was laying in bed, watching some goddamn shit. This turned off. Then I went to go grab a drink, and for some... Are you fucking joking? Can you please stop? Do you see?
The window's
I'm starting
open.
to get more fucking sketched out. Actually, to be honest with you, like I'm starting to get more scared. Like, as we go along.
Strangely, the glass bottle moved by itself and had
That was a
Tom
plastic
questioning
bottle,
whether he had
actually.
drunk a few shots too many. After
The
this
window's
incident,
open.
Tom took no action on the ghost, praying that it was a one-time occurrence, and due to no more updates since the incident, we are left in the dark too. All that we can do is hope the spirit left him after this. Ethan was in the short period of his life where he had no...
Oh my god. The way it popped up on the screen, like, that scared me. Like, oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Wow, this computer really pulling. It's really pulling. Let's see. Maybe something. This might be the background. Let's see if that works. Turn the background off, maybe?
...abilities, as he had decided to take a gap year before entering his university studies. The year was coming to an end, and his mother agreed that for the final month he could live in her house one last time, and Ethan was maximizing this opportunity by having fun with all of the items that he cherished. One thing that he loved was the dartboard, and as a child, he used to play with it every single morning
That
without
room
fail.
is super
This
messy.
is why he is such a good darts player. However, on what could be his last ever time playing with the board, something extraordinary happened, and here it is.
Dart time.
Jason's mom right there. Why is this place so messy? She's clearly sitting. She's clearly sitting on the side on the sofa.
Good old red. What the?
What'd you do?
Nothing.
You see, the camera stopped right
The garbage can
when
fell off the table.
he stopped the camera right at the moment that the thing went flying. You're not fooling me.
Okay, I'm done playing darts for a while.
Just after he threw his third and final dart, a bucket on
See,
the
he
table
turned.
beside the dartboard
Yeah, he
collapsed
turned
to the ground, and the
right.
thud was
He
so
turned the
loud
camera right
that
when.
even Ethan's mother heard it. She later asked Ethan for the video once he said
So
what
when he
happened,
grabs the dart,
and they
he
both
always
had a
turned
similar thought
the
come
camera.
into their minds. Ethan's
But this
father
time he
had passed
didn't.
away 3 months ago, and one thing he used to always do when playing darts is throw something to the ground to put his opponent off. It made sense that this could have been him, but was it far-fetched to say? Not in my opinion.
No. Something wrong with that. Sorry.
A paranormal surge is far worse than other paranormal situations. And the reason for this is quite obvious, but let me explain what one is first. In basic terms, it is when more than 5 haunting incidents happen within a minute of each other and can mean one of 2 things. You are either dealing with an extremely powerful spirit, typically an evil one, or you are dealing with several spirits that are working together to make your life a misery. The video that I am about to show you perfectly encaptivated a paranormal surge, and it was an extremely bad one.
Always poor quality. Why is he shaking so much? Like, hold still.
All sorts of things happened, and surprisingly, calling this a paranormal surge would be a bit of an understatement. The way things were happening in all sorts of rooms says to me that this was the act of several normal spirits, but it is not unheard of for a demon to cause this much distress by itself. The DS family is a family that posts their shenanigans to TikTok for the world to see,
Shenanigans,
and
yes.
they are actually
Post on
pretty big
TikTok
with a
is shenanigans. That's all it is.
follower count of 44,000. Their content used to be innocent and fun with their kids doing all sorts of goofy things.
Used to be innocent? So what happened? This is another one of those families that abuse their kids online, constantly having them online. I don't know. I don't know if I could put my kids online like that.
But nowadays that fun and quirky side is long gone. This is because they started to get haunted by a poltergeist that they have not been able to identify or combat, and it always assumes to show itself at nighttime when the children are asleep. Here is a video of the mother catching the ghost in the act, as per usual.
What? Holy crap. That's not scratching on the door.
All sorts of ghostly noises and knocks happened around the house, and it is important to note that only the mother and the children were in the house. It was evident that the children were sleeping and the mother was filming, so none of them could have made these sounds happen. This was most definitely the return of their haunter. This was the last straw for the mother, and she is currently in contact with a ghost hunter over cleansing her household. Feel free to wish her luck in the comments.
It sucks that you just can't get up and just leave. You know, you just can't move or anything like that. That's crazy.
There are all sorts of methods that a spirit can use to haunt you, and one of the most fear-instilling ones is called an apparition. An apparition is when a ghost shows itself to the real world, whether it is as an orb, a shadow, or a full-fledged human being, reincarnation. But the word doesn't tend to be thrown out there for something as simple as an orb. In the upcoming video, all kinds of things happen, and at first the woman believes it is the ghost of a child, and you will likely think the same. However, she does end up being disproved.
Yeah, no. Children, no. That's some that's my god, that's some fucking bullshit. That's some fucking bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Hey! What is that noise? I am not watching this. I am not watching this. Forget that. No. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, no. Yeah. Yeah. What? What? No. I need translation.
As you could see, all kinds of things were happening, but they were centered around the kids' toys, which is what led the woman to believe the poltergeist was that of a little child. Little did she know that the scariest was yet to come. As she looked into the window, she could see a shadow taller than her leaning over her shoulder. And if this truly was the shadow of the spirit causing all of this, then it could not have been a kid. She had every right to feel the most terrified she had ever been, and she took her daughter Lucy to sleep at her grandmother's for the foreseeable future to keep her safe.
Yes, indeed.
Over the past 10 or so videos on this channel, we have included clips from the exact same exploration, and I am proud to announce that this saga is finally going to come to an end. I am talking about the Midwest Ghost Hunter's adventure into a haunted manor, and he spent the entire night alone there, capturing all sorts of paranormal instances, hence why we were able to gather so much content from it. Well, all that I have to say is enjoy the last ones.
So what is that?
Yeah.
Looks like fingernail clippings in there. Yeah, I'm definitely not touching those. What is that? Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! What was that? What was that?
What was that?
The coat hanger!
Like I said before, why are we going by ourselves? Why are we going to these things by ourselves? Why? Just why? Why just have somebody else with you? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's scary. Now I'm scaring myself again.
How do you explain that? Oh,
How do you explain that?
I didn't mean to disrespect you.
You name the ghost?
I'll leave you alone if you want me to. Do you want me to leave? Okay. I'm leaving. I am out of here. Is there anyone in any of these rooms? Right now I'm just taking pictures everywhere. Is there anybody in this room? What was that?
We don't know, bro. That's why you were there. You need to explain that to us. You know what I'm saying? You need to explain that to us.
Over here. Is there somebody in there?
Yeah. Do you really want them to answer you back?
It looks like somebody's in there. What the heck is that?
Do you really want them to answer you back?
It just looked like somebody's sitting, like, in the bathtub.
Where?
The spirit started creating thudding noises, and it was almost as if it was trying to lure the Midwest Ghost Hunter to the location it wanted. Due to the ghost hunter wanting to find paranormal activity, it followed both of the thuds, which led him to a bathtub, and what he saw was most definitely jaw-dropping. A mist appeared to be sitting in the tub, and when he looked away and back for a split second, it was gone. Being the brave man he is, the Midwest ghost hunter was not going to let this slide, though. He went in to investigate.
As for the sake of research,
I closed my eyes on that one.
there's nobody.
Mm-mm.
Damn, that was creepy. I'm sorry to have disturbed you.
Well, you were there.
Whoa. Oh. That freaking curtain just moved. Oh God, how do you explain that now? This is so freaking crazy.
And what's so freaking crazy, like I said before too, like how I don't shop at thrift stores because things could attach to you. Now he's in this place, right? And whatever entity that's in there, if there is an entity in there, it's going to attach to him, and he's going to bring that entity home. And then you have it, another haunting.
I'm speechless.
So am I, sir. So am I.
What the hell?
Whoa, 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 whoa. I thought that was a...
So this is room 17 and 18. And this is where all those assaults took place.
Oh my
Now, it
gosh.
sounds pretty horrible on paper, but a lot of people theorize that it may not have actually been assaults, but instead...
As he theorized, the apparition had completely vanished from the tub, and he was ready to leave the room, but suddenly the curtain moved alone. This might be the last we see of his manor exploration, but this will not be the last we see of the Midwest ghost hunter. So subscribe. Also, don't forget to email your ghostly findings
because he was theorizing something totally different from what you were saying, sir.
With a description for me to create a story round.
Didn't he start to say that it wasn't assault? It was actually something else, but he cut him off before he could finish saying what he was saying. What is that all about?
The following video was filmed in the kitchen of Daniel, a man who had recently divorced his wife. He was having trouble adapting to the lifestyle of living life by himself, but fortunately, he could cope with it. However, a spirit clearly wanted to make this struggle even more difficult, and did so by haunting the poor man. He had no belief or correlation to anything tied with the spiritual world, and you would not place money on him being a victim, but this is what happened.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen this cabinet before, but it hasn't opened since the last time I recorded it opening, because I walked into the kitchen to the refrigerator and I was walking past it and I got about right here and it went and opened behind me and
maybe
the crap out of it. Got my heart thumping, let's put it that way.
Maybe it's
you don't expect that sound as you're walking by and so close to you, but it hasn't
uneven ground.
It hasn't opened since, and I can jump up and down and it won't open.
Maybe it's on the other side, because the house sounds a little woody.
Open anymore. I don't know, that's weird.
Walk on that side again.
The refrigerator's been making a god-awful noise. It used
probably
to make
old.
Another god-awful noise, like the fan bearings were screeching, and it was just such a loud whistle. Sometimes I'd just unplug it. But sometimes I could unplug it and plug it back in and it would stop doing it. But now it's making this, whoa. Okay, so I wasn't even moving.
Whoa! He sounded like Joey at that moment from Blossom.
But sometimes I could unplug it. plug it
Oops.
back in, and it would stop doing it. But now it's making this. Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, see, I didn't even move. I wasn't even moving. That's the first time that's happened since the last time. Okay, it's got to be a bed bearing, but I wasn't moving. Look at that. It's closed, and there's nothing on the edge.
Does that make it think it's uneven?
On the edge that would, like here on this edge, that would push it out. And there's the magnet clip. See, that snap's closed. Alright.
He tried not to scare himself.
Fuck, see? That's the freaking noise. Oh my freaking god. Alright.
That refrigerator is quite
Crap
old.
going on in the house. Oh man. Alright. I just wanted to show you that. And I got both of them. Awesome. At the same time. Still closed. Nothing. Come on, open it again. Let me see you open it again. Come on. I'll even move around. Jumping up and down. Banging on the floor.
The first time this happened was off camera, as explained by Daniel, and it frustrated him that he was not able to capture it since. Furthermore, the other sound that I was unable to identify had also been bugging him, so both of these things added together definitely made him question things, to say the least. Regardless of his fear, he powered through this haunting until the end, and surprisingly, it stopped happening by itself out of nowhere. He was a very lucky man that this happened. The man who recorded our next clip has actually been in a Haunter video before, and it was a very recent one on the channel. In this video, I explained that he had been living in the same home for 2 years, and prior to the clip that I showcased, not a singular out-of-the-ordinary event actually happened, making it odd that something did.
He got something must be following this guy. Oh my gosh. This is the second time he's on here. Wherever he came from, it followed him. If he's still in the same house, then the thing didn't leave. He came back with a vengeance. That's what he did. Oh my gosh.
This is why people believed the event would be a simple one-off scenario, and the house and Ellen would never encounter anything like this ever again. But to his dismay, these verdicts were wrong, and just 1 week later, this was captured.
Yo! Oh, hell no. When I go to sleep, I actually leave my closet doors open. I open it up and leave it open. I do not close them for that very reason. Monsters in the closet, and I have like little lights in there, and yeah, nope. I leave that door open. I do not close them while I'm sleeping. And another thing, like my house slippers, like my house shoes, I always face them that way. Like when I take my house slippers on, you know how you jump in the bed, you know, you take your slippers off and jump in bed? Nope. I turn, sit down this way, and have my slippers facing this way. Because they said, like, if your slippers is facing you, it's like somebody standing over you while you're sleeping. We ain't having that. That was a knock on the door on the thing, right? See? Scaring myself again. This is scary. This is really this is what freaks me out. This is what freaks you out. He didn't change the sheets on his bed. It has to look through the window. It's looking through the door to find him. Is somebody in there? Somebody in there? Somebody in there? That closet is pretty stuffed. Was there any cut? Was there a cut in that? Let's go back. Was that a cut in the video? I don't know. There was a cut in the video. Was he already standing back there? The fuck is that? Holy crap.
This time around, the event took place in his bedroom, and he heard clawing sounds coming from the wardrobe, which was what prompted him to record the incident. He is currently in talks with a ghost hunter to come and resolve his issues, but only time will tell if this is going to be a valid choice.
That's
Just
crazy.
like Ellen, Lean has also been seen knocking around on the channel recently, and his story just continues to get worse and worse. He was a strong believer in the paranormal and superstitions, and was thankful every night that nothing had happened to him. But one day, all of this thankfulness turned into
Change.
fright. Whilst Lean was home alone, which he often was, a paranormal surge occurred, and this finally confirmed to him that all of these things that he had been
This would make me want to live with a roommate forever, man.
He quickly
I used to live by
contacted an
myself all the time.
exorcist to resolve the issue.
But
and
shit,
after
now it's
roughly
like
a
I don't even know
week, they
how
managed
I'm
to
gonna
banish
live by
the
myself
spirit
anymore.
successfully, so you are probably
I'll stay living
wondering
with
what
roommates.
happened after that. The truth is that we don't know,
'Cause of the
but several
ghosts,
clips have emerged
paranormal
from the
shit.
period
It's crazy.
whilst Lean was waiting
Oh my
for
God.
the exorcism, and here is another one.
Exorcism?
3 de la mañana me vine a la casa del campo, leí muchos comentarios que me recomendaban que me mude y me vine para acá para ver si el problema yo.
You could hear the knocking in the background. That is insane.
Yo ya no, miedo ya no tengo.
Why are we still here? Again, I know you can't just up and leave somewhere when you're probably paying not the ass for a place to stay. Plus, especially if you bought the house or whatever. Especially if you bought. Yeah. Oh my god. Straight out of a horror movie. Don't look under the bed. Do not look under the bed. Yeah, this is the time to breathe hard.
Banging from behind the wooden doors, and knew that something was peculiar. This is what tempted him to start recording the incident. and thank the heavens he did, because he managed to gain even more evidence of his struggles. His
Yay.
spirit was far from a
Yay.
chill one, but at least we can be thankful that
Yay.
Lean does not suffer from it any longer.
Hey.
If any more clips from this period rise, though, I will be sure to include them in future content, so subscribe. On September the 5th of 2024, Antonio was in his son's bedroom waiting for him to finish his shower. The details of the reason are unknown for obvious reasons, but the baseline knowledge that we do have is that the child was in trouble and Antonio wanted to sit him down and have a chat. He was waiting for what felt like ages and ended up sitting there.
Alright, y'all. That's all great. But you know what? It's time to play my game. It's 9 o'clock? Yeah. Play my game. Let's see. Let's just hope that it works this time. I know I needed a walkthrough, but I wasn't sure. Because I'm still confused on what I'm supposed to do. Let's hopefully this doesn't slow down my computer.